And we are live. Welcome to the Political Orphans. My name is Nico Lagan, and I am your in-house conservative. To my left, Rob Ambrose, our token lefty. And together, we run through the news. Our goal is very, very simple. We're trying to show you that it is possible for somebody that's considered a liberal and somebody that's considered a conservative to get along. And when we don't get along, you know what we do? We discuss it like regular human beings. Because never forget, common sense has no political affiliations. What's going on, brother?
How's Cheyenne today?
You know, man, I got to tell you, and this is really what we're talking about today is really pissing me off. I've lost sleep
I could
over
tell. I could tell
No,
by
but
our conversations beforehand.
I've lost sleep over this, bro. Like I was up in the middle of the night just thinking about what is it gonna take? What is it fucking going to take for Canadians to wake up? And I really don't know. And it really, really bothers me. And the reason that it bothers me is that this is also my future. It's the future of my family. It's the future of the people that I love in Canada. It's your future. I care. I care so much that I left my corporate job to try to wake people up, which I've been waking up Americans for the past few years. And this is why I end up with almost 200,000 followers cross-platform. And now that they dodged the bullet, I'm looking at Canada and I'm like, bro, like, come on, man, we need to figure this shit out. And unfortunately, I'm not seeing it getting better. Like we talked about this yesterday, I lost my shit. I had another live at night with a fellow conservative in Canada.
Yeah, I saw that.
I lost my shit again. And I fucking lost sleep over this yesterday because I do not know what it's going to take for Canadians to wake the fuck up, to stop blaming Trump that's been in office for 6 weeks and look to our leaders and identify that they are the problem. Trudeau and the Liberals have been fucking our economy for 10 years now. Mark Carney's still pushing the same bullshit. Pierre Poilievre is talking about the same bullshit. Jagmeet Singh is talking about the same bullshit. Doug Ford, a conservative, the premier of Ontario, is spewing the same fucking bullshit. We have two leaders that seem to have common sense as a directive line. Like they're still somewhat awake. I don't know what the term is. I don't know how to say this, but I'm really fucking irritated by this. And I'm happy that you wanted to talk about this today. Plus, we didn't have a fucking choice because this is massive.
Yeah.
But yeah. I'm sorry going on a rant here, but I'm just fucking tired of Canadians being so complacent. It really fucking bothers me, and I'm really tired of this shit.
Yeah, I mean, I just obviously, we don't always necessarily come to things from the exact same place. Even if we sort of have that common ground, like, you said you're kind of sick of everyone blaming Trump. I'm okay with blaming Trump. I think that, he didn't need to do this. He didn't need to sort of take this angle with this. At the same time, it is what it is. He chose to go this route. And I like we talked about yesterday, I do think America has been underappreciated for sure. And that is on our leaders. That's on us. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter whose fault it is. We need to deal with the facts on the ground, the reality on the ground, and the way that Trudeau and pretty much all the leaders are going about this. I don't think retaliatory tariffs are the way to go. It's just, it might feel good. It might let us, get a bit of, pump our chests a little bit, but we can't, you can't govern a country like that. If you want to do that, then get out of politics and let someone else in who can lead with the country in mind. Because, at the end of the day, regardless of who's right or wrong, America is the big swinging dick. They're the big dog on the playground. And if they want to wake up and be a little grumpy, there is not a whole lot we can do about that other than do our best to sort of roll with the punches. Like one thing that really, we talked about yesterday, that whole thing with Zelensky on the weekend really bothered me, especially as I saw these tariffs come today, because I feel like if Trudeau had called and said, hey, what if instead they want me to go out to London and be part of this big party? What if I stay here and announce, unwavering support for you, our allies? What would you do then? I got a feeling that Trump would offer some sort of maybe he delays the tariffs, maybe he cuts them in half, maybe he just gets rid of them, something. But I think just because Trump, he values loyalty, and that was a time when the rest of the Western alliance sort of went against him. And I think we had a little bit of leverage. And instead, Trudeau hops on a plane, he goes out and slaps backs and plays back slapsies there. And what? Well, like how did that benefit Canada and further Canadian interests to go out there and have a little photo op with Zelensky?
In no way, shape, or form
None at all
did it help Canada. The only thing that it does is identify how weak Canadian leaders are across the board.
What are we getting from Ukraine? What is Canada getting from Ukraine?
But the thing is that it's not even just Ukraine is just a perfect example. We had the perfect opportunity to do nothing. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is to do nothing, and it would have been the smartest thing to do nothing. You didn't have to talk about Ukraine. You could have just dropped it. You didn't even need to call fucking Trump. You could have just dropped it and said nothing. They're not stupid. They understand how the game is played. And unfortunately for us Canadians, we have leaders that are not business people. They're fucking lifelong politicians that have never accomplished anything outside of politics. Everything they've built as per their career is on the back of their politics. So they don't understand that Trump is a businessman. You don't deal with a businessman by pumping your chest.
No.
Just like he told Zelensky, and you know what? I hope, which I know it's not going to happen because that fucking idiot does not have the balls to do that, but I would love for Trudeau to go to the White House right now, sit down with Trump, talk his dumb bullshit, and then Trump treats him the same way he treated Zelensky. Governor Trudeau, you're not holding any cards right now. You need to kiss the ring, shut the fuck up, or go back to where the fuck you came from. And this is the type of beating that it seems that Trump is going to put on people. And you know what? Love it, hate it. He's the big swinging dick right now. If he asks you to kiss the ring, kiss the fucking ring, fondle the balls, and fucking swallow the gravy. If that's what needs to... No, but bro,
it's true.
This is the thing. People think it's a joke when I'm saying, and you're laughing at this, and I know why. I'm not saying that you're not taking it seriously, but the thing is at the end of the day, we do not have anything in exchange for him. We cannot compete with him. We got nothing on this. We are the one that are dependent. 75% of our exports are bought by the US. 75%. What is going to replace? What is going to put a 25% tariff on the US goods? How is that going to help you and I? All it's going to do is put more fucking money in the pockets of our government. And as we all know, governments don't know how to fucking spend money. They're very good at just giving it away. I wouldn't even be surprised that we're so fucking stupid. Like our politicians are so fucking dumb that they're going to put 25% tariffs on US goods, take that money and send it to fucking Ukraine, because both Justin Trudeau, Pierre Poilievre stand with Ukraine. Like, are you... It feels that I'm living in a bad fucking Twilight Zone episode, or for the younger people out there, Dark Mirror or Black Mirror. Sorry.
Mirror, yeah.
It feels like I'm living in this, and I'm the only sane person walking around looking at people, and I'm like, are you guys fucking retarded? I'm just a dude. I'm just a dude, a common sense guy. That's it. That's all I am. I have a critical thinking mindset. I research what happens. I form my own opinion. How is it that me, just a regular guy, no different from whoever's watching this right now, can come up to those fucking conclusions, yet the people in power are just digging the hole, because they don't care. They're on fucking pensions. They're all worth fucking millions of dollars. Whatever happens here, they don't give a fuck. You
Oh
got
yeah,
a
they're
guy like
secure.
Mark Carney that has 3 fucking passports. You think he gives a fuck? And at the end of the day, bro, I've spent almost the last 3 years in the US. Alabama right now. We're going back to Canada soon, within 3 weeks from now. And my wife is Italian. She has an Italian passport. So her and I, a year from now, if shit doesn't go well, you know what? We can simply leave. We have a place to be. But the average Canadian does not. And they're still complacent. They're still just sitting there with their thumbs up their asses and just like, oh, well, let's blame the boogeyman over the southern border because he's causing us problems. No, it's us. We caused those fucking problems. There, if you look at the numbers, Trudeau over the past 9 years has doubled our debts, our federal debt. He doubled it in the span of 9 years. So whatever happened over the 150 years prior to that, he fucking doubled it in 9 years. And now Mark Carney is talking about fucking installing UBI, universal basic income, in order to fight. Like, what the fuck is going on?
I mean,
here?
so as a liberal, you know, there was a time when I was willing to give that a shot. It seemed I like the theory behind it, but they've started to do many tests on that, and it does not work every single time. Every single
No.
time, it just
No.
gets it's down the tubes. So at the end of the day, you know, when something comes out and you see the data come in, whether you like the theory or not, you got to go with what's happening on the ground. Good day, Prairie. Good to see you today. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, we'll answer a couple of those. So just watch Trudy. I guess you're talking about Justin Trudeau. Not waiting for that week.
Keep us posted here.
Yeah, Prairie, if you want to keep us posted, and thank you for saying this, because this brings me to the question of the day. Are you happy with Pierre Poilievre? Hold on, you know what? I'll be even more straightforward. Are you disappointed with Pierre Poilievre? Is he the leader you thought he was? And you know, this is what bothers me the most, is that I had high hopes for Pierre Poilievre. I was hoping that a conservative would actually stand up, although he has a very weak background, like he's a career politician. He didn't stand up for anything. I still somewhat had hope because he's gaining a lot of popularity. He's been on massive podcasts like the Jordan Peterson podcast, and he's gained a lot of followers. Like he has like 1.4, 1.5 million followers just on X. For a guy that represents a conservative party, that's fucking impressive because he ain't the prime minister, right? So, but yet I look at the way he just looks like a liberal in blue. I do not see right now. I was going through his feed on X this morning. Just go, just going. You know what he's been doing? Saying pretty much the same thing as Trudeau is saying and attacking Mark Carney. That's all he's doing. He seems to have the exact same stance on foreign affairs as Trudeau does, and then he attacks Mark Carney. That's 90% of his fucking posts. This is not a leader to me. I don't need to attack people. Talk about your ideas, say how you're different, but trying to belittle other people is not the way you win. Nobody gives a shit about this. At least I don't. Identity politics is bullshit, and I think we can agree on that, right?
Absolutely. And yeah, just I would even expand that question a little bit. For sure, I want to hear what you think about Poilievre, but also, what do you think about the leaders in general? Because they're all pretty much lockstep on this. We want to hear your take on sort of the response, because like you said, it isn't it's Poilievre, it's Trudeau, it's Freeland, it's Jagmeet, it's Doug Ford, it's
Carney.
Carney. It's all of them. And at this point, you know, I think to the extent that it's even possible, I think our leaders need to Fuck off with the politics. This isn't even about politics anymore. This is real life. You know, like start thinking about solutions. And so far, I'm not super impressed with what we see.
So Prairie, Trudeau just had a press conference and he says he hasn't spoken to Trump.
I don't know why he needs to tell us that. Why do you need to tell us that?
No, but why didn't you speak to Trump, you fucking idiot?
I assume
like, I don't like to
Trump's not taking his call, but like, what are you tattletaling on him? Like, just fucking keep calling behind the scenes. You don't need to try to embarrass him in press conferences. That doesn't help. Like, it's like they think they're dealing with a regular politician, and Trump is not that. Whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing, it is a thing. It is just the facts on the ground, and you can't. He's the kind of guy where, like, if you personally insult him, he doesn't give a shit. He'll blow up your whole country. Maybe not literally, but like. He'll like that whole deal, the mineral deal with Zelensky, that's gone out the tubes. That was the end of the war. That was a major, massive geopolitical policy. And he just threw it out like that because Zelensky insulted him.
But he didn't. He didn't throw it out. He knows that Zelensky is going to have to come back on his knees. And now he's not kissing the ring. He's going to have to kiss the cock ring. Like now there's a step up because he went to London, hoping that European countries would back him up. And what did they tell him? Oh, yeah, we'll help you with military, and we'll help you put a peace plan together. But we do need the help of the U.S. to make it happen.
I love how they said that, right? They're like, oh, yeah, we'll help you. By the way, we can't do it without the U.S. How did that go over in Washington, by the way? I've been on vacation for a couple of days. Did that go pretty good? No,
but that's my point, right? At least the politicians were honest, and now Zelensky doesn't have a play. Now he exposed how weak of a leader he is, how much of a beggar he actually is, and what is he going to have to do? He's going to have to come back to Trump and kiss the ring. It's not. Yeah. He doesn't have a choice. What else does he have?
Get a worse deal. If he gets the deal at all, it's going to be worse.
Of course he is. Now he's gonna have to suck up to even get 50% on that mineral deal. I would be surprised if Trump is like, well, bro, it used to be 50, now it's 75% for us.
That's actually a good sort of microcosm of what's going on here in Canada, where Zelensky, he called JD Vance a bitch or whatever. And so in
under
that
his
moment,
breath, in a language that he didn't understand. Let's put. I'm sorry to cut you off, but this is important. Re-say what you said with that.
No, that is a good point, because he calls him a bitch in a way that he wouldn't even understand in the moment. So, which is epitome of a bitch move. But the point is, he sort of lashed out in the moment because it felt good, right? I'm sure it felt nice for him to do that. But strategically, as soon as you do that, what did he gain from that? Nothing. And it hurt him, and he lost a lot of things by that. That's sort of what Canada's doing, right? We, in the moment, it might feel good to slap tariffs off and thump our chest a bit, but it's not going to help us, and it's going to hurt us. So we can't think like that. We don't have the luxury of being, when you're the big swinging the dick on the block. Yeah, you get to sort of walk around with your chest thrust out a little bit. We don't have that luxury. To the extent that we have, it's only because the U.S. has allowed us to have that luxury over the last couple decades. And, like them or hate them, life is a whole lot more pleasant when they're on your side.
Have you ever seen the videos of two dogs fighting across a fence? Like they're barking at each other, and then you open the fence and they're like, ugh.
Oh, yeah.
They leave.
Let me at him.
The U.S. has been our fence forever.
Yeah.
The liberal and the conservative are yapping across the, and then Trump is like, okay, tariffs for everybody. Like, at one point we are just weak. We're trying to go at this from a point of weakness, and it ain't working. It just ain't working. And as you said, and I agree with you 1,000%, this is not about politics anymore. Mm-hmm. Now you're really, one of the things, I don't know if I said that on this podcast or if you and I have ever spoken about this, but for the past 3 years, I've been mostly in the US. Like I think we spent 3/4 of our time down here. And one thing that I noticed when I came back last summer, like last March, we came back to Canada, spent 6 months. We spent the summer there. And what I've noticed, something that I've never noticed before, is the state of affairs of just people's cars. So we're right outside of Montreal, right? In a place where it's not poor, like it's very middle class, very normal, like houses built in the 80s type of deal. And you look at the state of the cars, most people are driving older cars, rusted cars, and you can see that they're not okay. Like you look at the cars, there's work that needs to be done, but as long as they're working, people are not really caring about their car anymore because they don't seem to have the money. And this is what I've noticed as I'm driving around, and my truck is 2015. It's just, it's in tip top shape, right? If you treat something with respect, it will last. But I'm looking at other people's car, they're 15, they're 20 years old. And I'm like, man, it left an impact because I didn't see that in the US. And we're not in rich cities here. We're in fucking small town Alabama. And I'm just looking at people, just the way they carry themselves, just at their things. And it seems that when I was in Canada, you really see a decline. It's right in your face for you to see. And you know, the numbers that 23% of Canadians right now are struggling to pay.
They're like one paycheck away from bankruptcy or something like that. Like
23 right now, 23% of Canadians have problems affording daily necessities. We're not talking about going on vacation here. We're talking about food, power, electricity, gas in your car to go to work.
No wiggle room whatsoever. And then you throw what worst case scenario, million and a half job losses. Like we don't have the luxury of thumping our chest right now. And you can say like when you say like, you know, we're weak, that isn't even an insult. That's just acknowledging the reality on the ground, right? We just 100%. Are, right? It's just like if you've got a 4-year-old child, you know, you could say they're weak. Well, yeah, they are. It doesn't mean you're insulting them. It just means you recognize that they are weak. That is us right now. We do not have the strength to fight back. And so we can't do that. Just going on to what Prairie says here about the UBI, and it sort of goes to what you were talking about. You know, Canada's not very pro-business right now. Even if you like UBI or those sorts of programs, those need to be funded somehow, right? You need to have a strong business policies. You need to have a culture of business in order to, even if you're the most bleeding heart liberal and you want free shit for everyone, someone's got to pay for it. You can't. So that's why like UBIs or like what was Carney's option here for this? If we lose a lot of jobs, more stimulus, more CERB, that ain't gonna cut it, right?
Oh, CERB, that was the name. Yes, but he's the one that brought up UBI. He can call it whatever the fuck he wants. It is still universal basic income. Yep. And you know, one of the things about this, and I'm gonna play just because I didn't think I'd bring it up right now, but I want to play a video that I recorded with Jason Lavigne, and this is what he said when he was on my show, and it's very relevant to what's going on right now. So I just want to play this because I want to put it into into perspective how fucking scary this shit actually is.
Already made a deal with Singh. They've met. It's a relief package. The only thing that Singh would make a deal on is a very expensive relief package because he's going to try and take care of the workers. He's already come out with that messaging. The media is already starting to back up the NDP to change their messaging from calling an election to postponing an election, because the NDP itself, if it was a snap election, wouldn't do well, and they're not financially ready for one. So it's actually in the NDP and Liberals' best interest to prolong an election as long as they can. Now, here's my concern, Nico. If they do a relief package and they start sending Canadians $2,000 a month and say, hey, it's because of our tariff war, we're going to help relief you. Well, of course, we'll have to pay for that later. There's deficit spending and inflation later. But today, it feels good because that money's coming in. They're going to make that the election issue. Liberals and NDP will keep the money going. Conservatives and PPC will show up cap. And if Pierre falls for it, and that is the issue, he's going to lose. There would be enough time between now and October, if you're sending enough money to enough Canadians, that you're going to change their opinion. You're not Trudeau anymore, so that barrier is gone. You're a new guy. There's going to be a lot of media supporting Carney. They're going to love him. And if you're receiving without even filling out a form, there's money in your bank account when you need to buy groceries, it's going to be hard to say, let's turn that off. I'm going to go in there and vote to take away that money. And if they feel comfortable and confident enough that they've got that support, we'll see the election as soon as they believe they can win it. And it could be in a few months after he goes back in. But if the payments start, if there's a relief package where we're receiving money, the election's about 3 months after that, because I think that's how long it will take Canadians to start relying on those deposits so that they will vote to keep them. And that's how I think you can go from a party with like no support under Trudeau to winning an election again because you bought it.
That's Jason's a smart guy. That's a really
he kind of blew my mind. That's why I wanted to play it, because man, I remember that as we were getting ready for the show, and I'm like, fuck. I released that 2 weeks ago, 6 days ago, sorry, a week ago. So this to me makes sense, but this is not a message that Canada is receiving right now. People are not understanding what this means. So basically, not only is Carney going to use that to win the election, he can delay the election as much as he can to make sure that people are relying. So he's using the tariffs to go dollar for dollar, because that's what he's been saying. He's the one that's pushing dollar for dollar. And then what does that do to Canadians?
That makes that strategy, puts it in a different light, because now if what Jason's saying is correct, and it has the ring of truth to me, it has
legs, whatever it's true or not, you're like, actually
there's some meat on that bone for sure. And what that means is actually now the Liberals actually like the tariffs. They want the tariffs because they need that excuse to do this, which puts all this in a completely different light. So maybe they're not just incompetent, maybe they're doing these things like
they're not incompetent
because they know. Fuck. Turn it into a conspiracy theorist. I hate it.
No, but the thing is that it's not, you have to be blind or willingly ignorant to not see this, to not see as a possibility. I'm not saying that this is what will happen, but man, does it ever fit with the messaging? You know, the NDP is all for UBI. You know that. That's not a hard sell. Carney has said himself that he would use UBI in a case of a tariff war with the US. He said that. Not only did he say that, but he said that he would declare a state of emergency in order to implement it. The same way CERN was implemented during the pandemic. I mean, the pandemic. Sorry, YouTube. It's the pandemic, obviously. But you know,
mistaken L in there.
Yeah, it's but it's my French accent.
Yeah,
sorry. It's like H's, right? I can't pronounce H's, so I put
L's instead of it.
Yeah,
just insert L's in random words.
But you know what I'm saying, right? It's one of those situations where it's not that far-fetched. And one thing that I will never do, which most people do, is they underestimate politicians. They call them stupid. They call them names. Don't underestimate them. They're not stupid. As much as I think Trudeau is not the smartest guy on the planet, he's not that dumb either.
I don't think
I'm not saying he's the smartest by no stretch of the imagination, but to say that he's stupid is underestimating him, and he's still been in power for 9 years. He had to fuck up really bad for people to stop trusting him. Like, it took him a long time, and yet he hasn't.
Well, it's interesting if you remember
right now, right? He hasn't. No politicians has been, like, the Liberal Party leader has not been decided. It should be decided on the 9th. So it should be decided Sunday. But
it's going to be Carney, though, right? Like, is that preset? I assume that it's preset.
I honestly thought, we spoke about this, I thought Freeland would win. She would use the same woke
as she doesn't.
The US.
What we're going to talk about later.
It's too late. I don't understand. So, you know, this is what I'm seeing, because if she would have been, if her party or her the people that will help her, like, I don't know how you call, like, her surrounding group, her strategists, her strategists, if they would have been very clever and really wanted to win, all I would have done is use the same thing that Kamala Harris did in the US, she would have won in Canada. In Canada, it would have worked. White men is the problem. It's time to have a woman in charge. Guys, this is what men do. Like even Trudeau tried to shut me down. Trudeau told me to do this, to do that. He wouldn't listen to me. Just look at his history. He shut down every single woman minister he's ever had. He reshuffled them out of a job.
All they know how to do is look at identity, right?
But it would have been so easy for her to do it. So I don't think that there was an intention of her ever winning. I think the plan all along with the Liberals was to have Carney in, because Carney is introducing himself as somebody from the people. He's fucking worth like $70 million.
Yeah. I love that. Like,
oh yeah, I'm one of the people. Are you fucking retarded? Like, if you thought that Justin Trudeau was rich, Carney is like at least 1-0 behind.
And it's not even just pure dollar signs. It's like status. He's in that secret group. He's in that.
He's a globalist.
Yeah,
he is a globalist. He works for the WEF. He's on. He believes in the WHO, the WEF. Like, that dude is
national bank.
Central banking. Yeah,
yes,
and that's something that on the same podcast that I showed you the reel from, Jason and I spoke about, and it's absolutely right. So
we should probably get to
hold on. Let's get
these comments.
30 minutes in.
Folks, remember to smash that like button as we go through all these.
Like button. Make sure to follow, guys. We can always use it. I really hate to do this. I don't like asking you guys to do something, but if you really like this show, please follow us.
That's how you support us, for sure.
Please follow us, because in all honesty, both
stuff coming up.
Both Rob, but hold on. Both Rob and I don't make money off of this. We spend at least, I must spend personally at least 4 or 5 hours, if not more, on this podcast, and it brings zero. It brings no money whatsoever. On top of that,
love of the game.
Do this. No, but we do it for you. So if you
we believe in it. We really do.
Support. You know that you're able to share this stream, right? If you're on Next right now, you can go on either Rob's account, my account. You can go on the Political Orphans account, share it, show it to people, because people need to hear this. People need to know that there is a common sense middle that actually cares about Canadians, and we don't care about political affiliations. If there's one thing I can promise you, I don't give a fuck about political affiliations. I will call what people are doing wrong, no matter who it is, and I will call good what people are doing. I would say that if Justin Trudeau right now went to the White House and kissed the ring, I would actually applaud him. So as much as I dislike him, I will not be choosing who I condone or not condone.
Well, you can see how much common ground we find on this show, right? Like, it really is that 80-20. And we're trying to make this a model for out in the real world. The media would have us believe that we're mortal enemies, and that just isn't true. That's a large part of how we got into this problem in the first place. I know from the right, it looks like all lefties are crazy. We're not. And I know from the left, it might look like all righties are, far right, fucking whatever they call Nazis. They're not, right? Like, we need to stop letting those people dictate to us how we engage with each other, because it isn't healthy for us. It isn't. They have an agenda that is not in line with ours.
Yeah, I agree, man. So Cindy Irwin is saying that Pierre Poilievre is not a leader, just another career politician who's in for himself only. And it bothers me because I have a lot of friends that are conservatives in Canada, and they support him. And I understand why they support him, because they're basically, what's our choice? Justin Trudeau? Pierre Poilievre? As much as I align with Maxime Bernier, is he going to win? Is it even a possibility? You know what I mean? Like, we're so fucked right now that it seems that wherever we look, we're screwed. It doesn't look like the next election is going to go our way whatsoever, no matter what we choose. So, I agree with Cindy Irwin, and it bothers me to admit it, but Pierre Poilievre is not the leader I thought he was, and every single chance he's had to separate himself from the Liberal and just put Canada first, because he's always saying put Canada first, yet his actions are completely the opposite of his cool, nice slogan that he uses 24 fucking times a day now.
I think my take is similar to how Jason felt when he told us last week about the U.S. election. He wouldn't have voted for Trump. I think he said he doesn't like, you know, that Trump won, but he's really happy that Kamala lost. That's sort of how I feel. Sort of how I feel about the liberals. As a liberal, I just feel like we've just lost our way so much. If we win, we'll have no reason to change. We need to not just lose, we need to be embarrassed. We need to get sand kicked in our face so that sane voices can now have some credibility and legitimacy when they say to the activists, no, like, your way, we tried your way, it didn't work. Now we're going to go the other way.
And, you know, that's why I think that guys like you and I talking about this day in, day out is important.
Yeah,
because, again, I'm not a liberal, obviously, but I'm also not supporters of the conservative. I'm just pointing out how fucked we are. And you seem to agree. Like, on that part, we're just like, what the fuck
we don't
is
always
going
agree
on,
the exact prescription, but we agree on the diagnosis. We agree on the diagnosis.
Damn,
Yeah?
that's actually not bad. Good for you.
Yeah.
Prairie is saying, hell no.
Something up here once or twice. Get something good out of it.
Don't judge his little old man hat and his piercings. He's a lot smarter than he sounds, or that he looks.
Not as dumb as you look. Talk about
No, I said smarter. No, I'm a
Yeah.
positive person, as
Yeah,
much
so
as
very
I sound like a pessimist sometimes. But Prairie is saying, hell no. I think he's a weak, spineless flip-flopper, and this is exactly what I'm seeing too. Like, this is exactly what I'm saying about seeing about Pierre Poilievre.
With Poilievre. Beef on a bun here. I think he's been paid to sink his ship and been promised a ministerial role if he does. I can't see them giving Poilievre a ministerial role, but I think, I don't know. It's like, if the polls are correct, then it's been a pretty epic collapse, and I don't know how this happened so quickly. Like, just the fact that Carney came in was like, hey, I'm a new face, and all of a sudden the polls completely shifted. I don't know how that happened, and if there is, I mean, Poilievre dropped the ball like. What's the saying? He snatched defeat from the jaws of victory.
But this is what happened, is because if you go check, I'm telling you, man, I'm always going to see the comments on Pierre Poilievre just to see, is it just me? Like, am I becoming a Pierre Poilievre hater? But yet I go on his page.
Derangement syndrome.
Yeah,
PDS.
yeah, PDS. I was going to say that has a ring to it, but. You know, I go to his comment section on all of his posts where he's basically repeating what Trudeau is saying. And it's just post after post after post after post after post after post of people just, bro, what happened to you? What's going on with you? That is not what you were like. People seem to be in the same place as me, as in, like, what the fuck is going on? So maybe that beef on a bun, and maybe if you're still there, you can confirm what I'm saying. Maybe he's not talking on the Canadian level, but on the globalist level, because Pierre Poilievre is also a globalist, right? He seems to support every other country out there with foreign aid, but he doesn't want to take care of Canadians. That's globalist agenda, if you ask me. So maybe that's what he means. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, beef on a bun, because I don't see him joining the Liberal Party and getting a minister job under the Carney administration. But could it mean that on the globalist level, like at the WHO or the WEF,
that's more likely. He gets
that's what I'm thinking he meant,
or something like that. You know?
Yeah. And you know what? Prairie's bang on this one, and this is what bothers me the most about him, is that he really isn't standing for anything right now. And I agree. You know, as we said multiple times, you deal with the tariffs by kissing the ring, making a deal right now using diplomacy, and then every single thing that can start being produced in Canada, start investing all the money possible on that. Just invest, as Trump says, drill, build pipelines, make sure that we build our refineries right here in Canada. Quebec doesn't want to be part of it. Fuck you, Quebec. And this is where I'm from. Fuck you, Quebec, and just fucking force them. Remove the problems of exporting and importing through
Yeah,
province
there's
borders, which
things we
no
can
idea
do.
why this is in place. But you need to kiss the ring. You need to make sure that the next couple of years are good, that we're not destroying the economy, losing a million fucking jobs,
Yeah.
but then start building those jobs. Kiss the ring, make it as less painful as possible. If you have
Yeah.
to beg, fucking beg.
Yeah, I mean, there's a time and a place when that is leadership, right? Like when that's what you need to do. Like for sure, there's a time and a place to sort of stand your ground. This ain't it. I think you're bang on the solution there. The solution is right now in the short term, shore up Trump's support, get the immediate pain off of our necks, and then in the medium and long term, start investing in infrastructure, right? Start building pipelines. I live in New Brunswick. We have one refinery in St. John that refines all the gas for all the Atlantic provinces. If you go out there to see the refinery, all you see is 30 or 40 ships out in the ocean from Saudi Arabia, just dumping off their oil. Why is that? Why are we buying oil from Saudi Arabia and Venezuela when we are one of the most oil-rich countries in the world? There are things.
Third, put the number on it. Third.
Yeah. And there are things that we can do. So in the medium and long term, we need to get ourselves into a position where we aren't at anyone's whims anymore. And then we can pump our chest a little bit. Then we can thump ourselves up. But right now we can't do it.
We have the chance. We've said this before. At least I think I've said this before on this podcast, because sometimes I get confused between this one and my other. But all to say that we have the possibility of becoming a superpower, an energy superpower.
Absolutely.
We have the third biggest reserve of oil and gas in the world, and we are the third biggest producer of hydroelectricity in the world. I would argue that we probably sit on the biggest untapped natural resource reserve in the world. Yes, yet our leaders are not utilizing it, are not creating the jobs that could not only sustain this country, but take the country from being mediocre to becoming a super energy power. We have it all here. All we're lacking is leadership. Leadership. Yet I don't understand, why is it that you and I sitting here can actually understand this,
see the issue,
yet you look at our leaders. This is why I'm saying that it has to be organized. It has to be done from within. There has to be something that is going on behind the scene, because I don't consider myself that smart, especially not compared to the people that have access to millions and millions of dollars of information with massive teams of people that can research. We're a two-man operation, you and I, bro. So I don't expect that I'm going to be more equipped than they are. So if you and I can think about this, like, let's be honest here, there has to be something behind. Like, yes, it sounds like a conspiracy theory, and maybe I should put my little hat on just for the sake of argument. But at the end of the day, can you really disagree that something doesn't smell fishy here?
Well, I feel like, on some level, we also, as the voting public, we have to take some responsibility, because we've allowed them to get away with this, right? I think
couldn't agree more.
At some point, people just need to start speaking common sense, and people need to agree with them. Like, even on this show, let's say hypothetically, we start to take off, get a large number of followers, people are going to start listening, right? And we're not saying anything groundbreaking. This is, like you said, we're not two fucking political science majors or these geniuses. We're just saying common fucking sense. It just seems like common fucking sense has gone out the window over the last couple of decades. I can't even really think of anything the federal government has actually done that's useful, right? It seems like all it is involved in culture wars and painting rainbow sidewalks, and nobody gives a shit, right? We want good governance. We want leadership. We want infrastructure built so that our lives we can maintain a quality of life. We're coasting on investments that our fathers and grandfathers made 50, 75 years ago in the infrastructure in this country. That's going to run out soon, right? We need to start investing in our future, not just for us, but for our kids, for our grandkids, when they do come along. So, I mean, something has to change. And whether you're right or left, you've got to recognize there's something off. So let's put all the bullshit aside, come together and figure out how the fuck to fix it. It isn't rocket science. It really isn't. It just requires a change of mindset and a change of leadership.
I agree, man. Jason, don't forget to smash that like button.
Yes,
Agreed.
yes. He's always reminding us.
I'm just going to run through the comments here so we can start showing some videos, but Carney will misuse the Emergency Act. He actually said he would. He did this. This is not even a conspiracy theory. He actually spoke about this. He posted about it on his X.
Really?
Yep. PP is here today with a message of hope. Of course he is. Oh no, you wouldn't. Ha ha. JJK. I have no idea what that means, Jason. No idea. Cindy Irwin, that is the sad reality we're facing, and I'm pretty sure she's referring to the point that it seems that wherever we look, we're fucked. Well, that sure didn't work for Trudy when he ran down to Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, no shit. Huh?
It was
His
never
little
going to work
socks,
true, though. Like
no, but his little socks didn't
Yeah.
work for him. That's for sure. Yep. He's up there, just you and his name old and his same old slogans. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. All the politicians are filled with empty slogans that don't mean to mean anything. Jason, and how's that working out? 1 month and they still suck. I'm not sure what he's talking about. Not sure what you're talking about, bro.
That's all right. We can just go to some of the bigger ones there.
Oh, there we go. Beef on a bun. Yes, I was behind him until he did about a face.
Talking about Poilievre.
Yep, he seems compromised, is all I'm saying. It's almost like he knows generational Canadian aren't the driving force of politics anymore. Hashtag something is fishy. We agree, brother. We absolutely agree. At least I agree with you. I don't know for Rob. I won't speak for him because I wouldn't want to hurt his feelings. But
my feelings they're all right. I don't know. I need to see more.
Cindy Irwin, I am an avid PPC supporter. Their policies are the only ones that are for the people and the only ones that make sense to me personally. Funny enough, I was on a podcast yesterday with Jeff Evely. He's a PPC representative, and I believe that she works on his campaign. So thanks for being here, Cindy, because I don't think that before yesterday you actually knew who I was. Now you're on this show, so we appreciate you. That's very cool. And you know what? To her point, as much as I don't back political parties, if I had to choose one, if you forced my hand to choose one, I choose the PPC because to me, he's the only one that didn't flip-flop around. I can't lie. I can't lie about this. Maxime Bernier has been saying the same thing for years. So I like Daniel Smith, but she's provincial. And I like Maxime Bernier personally. But at the same time, if they say something I disagree with, I'll be the first one to call them out. But if I had to choose, like Jason said, I don't know that I would have voted for Trump, but I'm definitely happy that Kamala Harris lost. I would have voted for Trump. I got no fucking shame in saying it.
For sure.
But at the same time, it's the same thing for Maxime Bernier, right? It's one of those situations where would I vote for him? Yeah, I would. He's the only one I would vote for. But
you
at
wouldn't
the same
vote
time,
at this point. Is there anything he could do to get your vote?
No, because the thing with Poilievre, and that's what bothers me the most, is I worked in sales for a very long time, and one of the skills that I have is to read people. I'm very good at sitting at a table. It takes me 2 seconds, and I got a very good idea of the type of person that you are. I'm not saying that you're a bad or a good person, but I see what you like, what you don't like. Just, if you understand, I don't know if you know what NLP is, neuro linguistic programming. Is basically psychology based on human behavior. So you can analyze the way people are, and there's ways to tap into their unconscious mind in order to duplicate what they're doing. It's called mirroring, for example. But all to say that you can.
If they're wearing a tinfoil hat, though.
No, that is true, bro. But all I'm saying is that for the longest time, like he's been a politician since he's 24 years old, almost 20 years now. So I knew of him when I was still in Ottawa back in the days, like fucking 10 years ago. I knew who he was. I knew what he stood for. He represented a super small town outside of Ottawa, and he was never anything extraordinary. Like, he was not that good of a politician. At least I didn't think so. But then I wanted to see what he actually stood for, and ever since the lockdowns, he's been flip-flopping and flip-flopping and flip-flopping. You know, when you listen to someone and you're like, fuck, there's something off here. There's something I don't like. I don't know what it is. Is it his temperament? Oh yeah. And I've always had that vibe from him. There's always been something about him that I did not enjoy. And now he's showing to me that it's exactly what I thought. Like, unfortunately, I was wrong, and it bothers me. Sorry, unfortunately, I was right. It bothers me that I wasn't wrong, because now I really feel that we're fucked. Let me rephrase that. I don't like to say the way I feel. I do not see a political party that actually seems to have what it takes to become the next prime minister with good intent. As much as I like Maxime Bernier, I don't see him becoming, unless there's something fucking massive that happens where people somehow they get all smacked in the back of the head and they actually start paying attention, or they allow Maxime Bernier on the debate stage, and maybe that's all it takes, and he should be there to show a more common sense approach. I don't see him becoming prime minister. As much as it bothers me, I don't see it. But what the fuck else are we supposed to do? And this is always what I'm going to come back to, and it bothers me, man. It really fucking bothers me.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Prairie says Poilievre up there whining about Trump doesn't. Guys, stop doing this, man. Like, it's not gonna help. Don't like Poilievre. Like, he's at least got conservative after his name, right? You know, Trump he's at least had a shot at maybe getting him to like him, and that matters. Like, Trump clearly does his politicking based on personal relationships. So if you can,
he's a business guy.
If you can get the guy to like him, that's going to have massive dividends for Canada. Don't go up there and start whining like a little bitch. Like, that doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help us. It doesn't help anyone.
Look at what Zelensky, what happened to Zelensky when he started acting like a bitch.
Yeah.
Trump almost smacked him in the head before throwing him out, and now it's going to cost him a massive amount of money. The same thing is going to happen to us, and that's why I'm saying that Poilievre is not a strong leader because of his actions. As much as I want him to be, he is not. He's not a strong leader. Danielle Smith's a better leader than he is right now on paper. I like the way she responded to all of this, and I just don't like it for Poilievre. But unfortunately, she's provincial, and it doesn't seem like they're going to give the platform to Maxime Bernier, unfortunately. Jason, the Dems having a coming to Jesus moment.
That's what
I mean. It is not going to happen until 2029.
I agree with that. I think they're gonna have to lose again in 2028 before they have that that sort of come to Jesus moment. And Cindy, have a new follower on me. Well, we love to have you.
Absolutely. Thank you for this. And I'm always happy to see common sense people. So, and we're gonna finish with this before we jump to some videos, but 100% Maxime should be on the debate stage.
I mean,
I think
I'm a lefty, and that's a no-brainer. I don't want anyone just not allowed on. Like, that's stupid. I want to hear from everybody.
Yeah. See, okay, one more, just because it's Jason. Trump, for his ego identity, showed incredible restraint until Zelensky went too far with Vance. Watch the and I agree. Watch the full video
one, because first I thought I was like, nah, nobody looks good here.
Watch it. No, Trump was actually calm and collected until he basically stepped over the line with JD Vance. Sorry. While JD Vance was absolutely correct. What pissed him off is when he started saying that, oh, we're going to feel it. You're going to feel this now you have an ocean protecting you, but you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it. Those are threat coming to
why would he say that? Why would I can't imagine why he would go that route.
And yet people are still supporting him.
I think he's just been so coddled by Western leaders for the past couple of years that he has no. I guess he bought into his own hype. He got high in his own supply.
So we had, so let me ask you this. What do you want to do? Because we've been talking about this for like
Yeah.
54 minutes.
Yep.
Do you want us to still show the videos that we found about what they were talking about the tariffs? Because right
What's the
now,
other option?
I don't know what the
Yeah,
other option is, because I have a bunch of, my goal at least, and my goal today was to show that we do not seem to have, you know what, fuck it, let's just do it.
let's go for it.
And oh, hold on,
It's gonna spur other conversations as it always does.
you have your nice ocean,
Did
fuck
he
this
actually say
guy.
that? Did he
Yep,
actually say that?
100. Oh yeah.
Oh,
And
for fuck's sakes, man.
for the people out there that are just hearing about Jason or seeing this comment on the screen right now, Jason's a liberal. Like, this
Yeah.
is what's funny. Like, he's a Democrat. That dude ain't me. And so for him to say that, it's fucking funny. It means even more, right?
Yeah.
Now, Miriam, what's going on, Miriam? It's been a while since I've seen you on the
Oh
show.
yeah. It's been a
He
while
thinks
since
of
Aaron was
himself as a war hero. Yeah, and go see, and people don't I don't know if people do it on purpose, but people seem to forget that Zelensky's an actor, he's a dancer, he's not a military guy, he's just literally a puppet that's been in place, and he's what I call a midge. Like, he's a midget. Like, did you see how small he looked? Like a child
here.
compared to JD Vance and Donald Trump. And I'm sorry, but JD Vance is not a massive guy. I'm a lot bigger than JD Vance. Like, I probably outweigh him by 30 pounds or 40 pounds. And Zelensky looked like a midge. He looked like the tiny, like, hello, my name is Zelensky, I need money. Like I felt like I needed to give him a cookie and a glass of milk before he joins the actual conversation. It's just absolutely ludicrous, but I agree with you. Miriam, he thinks he's a war hero, yet, yeah. Let's just say that he definitely is not.
I mean, he clearly bought into his own hype. I mean,
but he's an actor, so
yeah,
you can't be surprised that he's
actors are
acting
always a little bit fucked up.
what
Anyway.
they do. But that's still what they do, right? We underestimate how good actors are, but at the end of the day, that's what they do. Where you want to start? Because you know what? Let's start here.
Yeah,
let's start with the article that Trudeau has posted on. Did you see that? I sent you this morning.
I think so.
About this. This is the latest post that's been added to the oops, to the Canada government website, the pm.gc.ca. So Justin Trudeau's webpage.
Oh, is that the whiny? Is that the whiny? Like, oh no, he put yes.
So basically, Justin Trudeau today issued the following statement on unjustified U.S. tariffs against Canada. Today, after 30 days pause, the United States administration has decided to proceed with imposing 25% tariffs on Canadian exports and 10% tariffs on Canadian energy. He's basically saying that there's no justification for this. And he goes on saying that blah, 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 blah. He continues talking. But basically what he's saying is that because of the tariffs imposed by the U.S., Canada will pay more for, Americans will pay more for groceries, gas, and cars, and potentially lose thousands of jobs. See, that's what pisses me off about this guy. He doesn't care about that. That's not the point. This is not what Trump is talking about. He's gonna control our economy if we go to war with him. Because you know what? As bad as it is for Americans, sure, it's not good for the Americans. But they're not dependent on us the way we're dependent on them. And this is what those politicians are not saying. And this is the part I wanted to go to. Canada will not let this unjustified decision go unanswered. Should American tariffs come into effect tonight, that was posted yesterday night, obviously, Canada will, effective at midnight, at 1 o'clock, at 1 in the morning Eastern tomorrow, respond with a 25% tariff against 155 billion of American goods.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Starting on $30 billion worth of goods immediately. The only people that are paying for this is going to be you, me, Canadians. Not obviously, this is not going to hurt our politicians because they're making a shit ton of money. They're living on the arm of Canadians, and they all have their pensions now. Everybody's happy. Jadmin Singh has fucked their country for years now to make sure he has his pension. But this is not going to impact Americans. This is only hurting Canadians. And this is the part that they never talk about either. This is government imposed. So that means that they're going to cash in on this. And there was a post I saw. I thought I saved it, but I don't think I did. But the post was basically saying, so March 4th, we see a 25% tariff on American goods. On April 1st, it's either April 1st or April 4th, we're seeing a 25% increase on the carbon tax. So it's
I saw that. Why are we doing that? What,
because that's what Trudeau's put in place. That was the goal all along, to have a carbon tax increase. I'm going to look right now at the actual date so that I'm not talking out of my ass here.
Political malpractice. Why?
April 1st. April 1st, there will be yeah, exactly. They're going to be gasoline will increase. The carbon tax increase will also raise fuel prices. And hold on, I have it right here, so I might as well show you guys so that I'm not full of shit. Gasoline increased from 17 cents per liter in 2024 to 20 cents per liter in 2025. Diesel increased from previously rates of 25 cents per liter in 2025. Propane increased from 12 cents per liter in 2024 to 14 cents. And this, again, Canadians are paying for this because, those numbers might not sound like a lot. But when you're a transport company, when you realize that every single goods that we have are transported,
it's going to get
companies are not paying for it. Yeah. We are. So not only are we getting hit by the transport fee, that means that everything that you buy is going to be increased. Plus our personal fuel is being increased. Plus everything else is being increased because everything needs to be transported. Even if you're paying for a plumber to show up to your place, guess what? The products that he's installing at your place increased. His transport fees to get there increased. So everything is being that carbon tax, when you think about it, is fucking brilliant because it is taxing every single aspect. Name me a place I can show you how the carbon tax has increased your cost.
I'm shocked that I guess I shouldn't say shocked. I really wish they weren't still going through with that. It just seems like that's a perfect opportunity to say, okay, in light of the uncertainty because of the tariffs, we're going to give Canadians a break. We're just getting hit from all sides here now. And I looked up the other day how much Canada, even if you fully believe all the sort of everything in the climate change narrative, Canada has 1.5% of global emissions. China is 40% and America's 45% or something. Nothing we can do is actually going to do anything. It's just performative.
But we're zero. But do you know that because of our forests, we have a zero footprint? Actually, we remove more CO2 than we produce. We are at zero emission because of our nature in Canada. That's fucking 90% of our country's fucking forests. So.
It's not going to do anything because nothing, there's no amount of behavioral change for our tiny country that's going to make a dent in emissions, even if you firmly believe that emissions are a serious, serious problem. So it's not, there's no practical effect to it. It doesn't do anything. It just allows these people to feel good, performatively go out to the conferences in Davos and the WEF,
identity politics. That's
and so they can thump their chests and be like, look at what we're doing in Canada, but it's not doing anything. It's just all it does is add more burden to Canadians. It taxes us even more and more, and we're stretched to a breaking point. We cannot afford it anymore.
I found a video from Foreign Affairs Minister Mélanie Joly, which, if I'm not mistaken, she's in the race to become the Liberal leader. Not going to happen, but here's what she had to say about what's going on with the tariffs.
Let's be clear. If Trump is imposing tariffs, we're ready. We are ready with $155 billion worth of tariffs, and we're ready with the first tranche of tariffs, which is $30 billion, which is already known.
Mr. Trump has said publicly just now 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico. No, quote, no room left for Mexico or Canada. They're all set. They go into effect tomorrow. Is Canada just stuck bracing for impact at this point, Minister?
So we are ready. And of course, I'll have a conversation with the Prime Minister when he lands, because he's coming from London. And I'm going into a cabinet room right now to talk with my colleagues about the Canada-US relation. And of course,
So let me replay that question, that because it was a valid question from the reporter.
Mr. Trump has said publicly just now 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico.
And listen
no,
to her
quote,
answer.
No room left for Mexico or Canada. They're all set. They go into effect tomorrow. Is Canada just stuck bracing for impact at this point, Minister?
so we are ready. And of course, I'll have a conversation with the Prime Minister when he lands, because he's coming from London. And I'm going into a cabinet room right now to talk with my colleagues about the Canada-US relation. And of course,
That's our foreign affair minister. That is the woman that should be on her knees sucking Trump's cock right now to make sure that this is not happening. Like, and I don't care that she's a woman. If it was a dude, I'd say the fucking same thing. You should be kissing that fucking ring right now. But that just shows you how disconnected they are from real life. Like, what does that mean for Canadian? Well, I have to talk to Justin Trudeau because he's too busy being in fucking London hugging Mitch Zelensky. Did you see that hug? He was almost crying. Like, they're hugging and they're like, fuck, they're almost starting to dance a slow dance. Like, fuck off. How is being in Ukraine more important than being in the US trying to get a meeting with Donald Trump?
Yeah.
Like,
what are you doing in the UK? Rubbing one out there with Zelensky. Like, it seems like politics of our leaders is just a popularity club. Like, it's just it's like we're in high school and that's the cool club, and they're just using our country to get themselves into the club, and that's idiotic. Who the fuck cares? Like, Ukraine is not advancing Canada's interest. Whatever you feel about the war is irrelevant at this point. It's undeniable that there's nothing Ukraine can do for us as a country. Donald Trump can do a lot for us by, say, removing tariffs or cutting them back or doing something. Spend your time on the things that are going to help Canada and not the things that are going to help you with your buddies. Your globalist buddies there, all having a circle jerk here with Zelensky for no apparent reason, for no obvious. What is the benefit to sort of antagonize the United States at this point?
I don't have an answer for you, man.
Yeah, there isn't one. It's a rhetorical question. There isn't one, right? There's no need for it. Why are we doing it? But yeah,
but that says a lot. If I don't have something to answer, it says a lot, because damn. Cindy Irwin is saying that climate change is just another form of liberal control, just a hoax. I agree. Ding, 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 ding. Chicken, what is it? Dinner, chicken dinner. Winner, chicken dinner.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Prairie seems to agree. Cindy Irwin is saying that beef of a bun is 100% agreed. So I love it. I cannot stand this woman. She's so damn despicable. And you know what? She gives me the same vibe as a Kamala Harris, as the same vibe as Hillary Clinton. You so indifferent. Like, did she seem to care?
No.
And this is what bothers me the most. Like, she could not give two shits to answer.
Like, Canadians are pretty scared right now, right? People are worried. Like, my brother works for a company that manufactures like veneers or something, and they sell a lot to the United States, and he's got warning they may have to pack up and move down to the States, or the company might. And he's just one person out of how many millions. There's a lot of people who are really, really worried right now. They just bought a house. They just bought a really nice house out in Calgary 2 years ago. Right? They can't move right now. Or at least they can, but it'll be, they really, really don't want to. And there's a lot of Canadians out there who have those same fears, and they want to hear from their leaders. They want to know that they're doing something. I don't think they really give a shit about, hitting them back or, slapping tariffs on. I don't think big numbers like, oh, 50 billion, 150 billion. I don't think that helps. I think they want to hear that their jobs are secure. I think they want to hear that you're working behind the scenes to do whatever it takes to get rid of these tariffs, because these are a very, very serious threat to our economy.
They are, but somehow, this is the part that bothers me the most, is that somehow they seem to be taking it so fucking lightly, like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Like it's just, you know what? Oh well, shit happens, bros. Like shit happens. We're gonna deal with it.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Like, what does that mean exactly? We're gonna deal with it. Can somebody tell me?
If all that means is slapping tariffs on and think that's going to do anything, it's not going to.
Like,
you're not going to hurt them. It's going to be like a minor annoyance to them. Meanwhile, a fucking headshot to us. We can't. It's not a war we can win.
Like, you look at this video. Here's a video of Mark Carney during the debates. So this happened. This is dated of February 25th. So basically, he's going to tell us what his plan is for the tariffs. And please tell me that he cares. Let me know if you hear this.
Canada faces one of the most serious crises in our history.
Can you hear this?
One of the most serious crises in our
history.
So
you heard that. Okay, perfect. Let me play it.
Canada faces one of the most serious crises in our history. To get through it, we will need to build a strong economy, and that requires big changes. Canadians have been telling me that they want change. They want positive change that builds this country. I can bring that change. I know how to manage crises. I know how to build strong economies.
But tell us how, bud. Like, you actually had me. You had my attention with that first sentence, because I agree with that. I'm not gonna. I just want to hear solutions. And if you're gonna tell me one, I'm gonna listen to it. And he started. We gotta rebuild or build up our economy, get through it. I completely agree. So how are we gonna do it?
How?
Just trust me. This is what I do. I'm not gonna fly, brother. Like, tell me specifically, how are we going to do it? Tell me about infrastructure that projects you're going to finance. Tell me about pipelines you're going to force through Quebec, whether they want it or not. Tell me about things that we're going to do to get Canadians back to work. Because I don't know if you knew or not, but we're probably going to lose about 1 million jobs. This is not a big country. That's going to hurt. That's going to hurt a lot. How are we going to get those people back to work? That's what I want to hear about. I don't want to hear about your fucking your win-loss record. I don't care if this is what you do. If that's the case, great. Tell us. We want to know.
Pierre Poilievre just went live on the unjustified U.S. tariffs. So he's talking about it right now. It ended 30 minutes ago. So as we were on here, do you want to hear a portion of it? Should we play?
Yeah, we'll just before we go, we'll just go from Cindy here.
Go for it, man.
I'm in there of Windsor, Ontario. Cindy says car industry is going to take a hit as well as all the feeder plants. Trudeau / PP, Pierre Poilievre, and the rest of them do not give a shit about what they're doing to us. The car industry is probably might be the worst one hit. And I mean, that is one of the major heartbeats of a Canadian economy. That southern, you've got obviously the oil out in Calgary, but over here on this side of the country, for sure, that manufacturing base in southern Ontario, that's the other sort of heartbeat of the Canadian economy. And they are going to get it probably as bad as anybody. And again, at the end of the day, we want to see solutions from our leaders, but it also, there's a personal element to politics. I don't know how they all seem like robots up there, right? I guess you could say it doesn't really matter the way they say things, but that is how politics works. People want to feel that you worried. We want to feel that you can feel our urgency, because all we see is Trudeau flying off to London, backslapping with Zelensky, and I'm not sure that he understands the sort of urgency that most Canadians are feeling right now.
I agree. So let's I'll just remove the comment, but let's play a part of it. This just was it ended 30 minutes ago, so I have no idea, but it's 14 minutes long. Obviously, we're not going through all of it.
President Trump stabbed America's best friend in the back. My message to the president is
Coming from the guy that stands with Ukraine when the US just kicked him out of the
Yeah.
White
That's
If
the
there's somebody that stabbed somebody, it's you. You stabbed.
Well, and I want to say some of that because sorry,
But
go
you
ahead.
stand with the Ukraine. No, again, perfect opportunity for you to shut the fuck up and say nothing. Yet here we are. "Oh, he's stabbing us in the back." Actually, bro, you stabbed him in the back by supporting and standing with the Ukraine.
Well, and like you said, okay, so you said our best friends, right? Like, let's say hypothetically, even if you agree that the way that Trump acted with Zelensky, let's say you thought he shouldn't have done that way,
Sure.
but he's still your best. Imagine you're at the bar with your best friend, and he's a bit of a dick, right? He's a drunken idiot, and he goes over and his mouth starts cashing checks that you can't, and he gets in a fight. Are you going to say, "Oh, hey, you shouldn't have said that"? Or are you going to say, "Yeah, I know my friend's an idiot, but he's my best friend, and I'm going to go and have his back"? That's how best friends behave. So even if you disagree with the way Trump handled that, he's still supposedly our best friend, as Pierre just said. Where was that support? You know, like, sometimes you can see the Americans might have a point, right? It seems like there isn't a lot coming back towards them, and I don't think they need a lot. But they do. I think they like to feel at least a bit of loyalty, and I don't see that.
You know, I'd take it even further. I don't think that we're best friends. That's not strong enough. The
We're
US
family.
is Canada's big brother.
Yeah, we're family.
We're the tiny, we're the tiny annoying brother in the back that the US is like, "Oh, shut up, just come, I'll protect you. Just come here. Oh, you need more money? Oh, it's okay.
Here you
Oh,
go,
you need
here you
us to
go."
buy your goods? It's okay. It's okay, little guy. It's okay." That's who we are. We're not best friends. We're literally family with the US. We're like the
Yeah.
smaller brother that the older brother always protects. And now
and
we're playing the victim.
And even if you don't agree with everything that your family or your brother does, you still have their back when they get in a crisis. You still have their back when they get in a fight. You don't run across the street to the guy that they got in a fight with and slap him on the back and have a circle jerk and be like, "Oh, we're really sorry. Yeah, we know our brother. You can be a dick." Like, you got to have some loyalty here, and if you don't, I don't know how you can expect it from the Americans.
I agree. Cindy Irwin is saying that 10 words in, and I'm already grossed out. You know, one thing, I don't know if you see that at the bottom, but it says that video finished 30 minutes ago. He barely has 72,000 views. That to me is very indicative of how bad his rep is becoming, should I say. Because 72,000 for a guy with 1.4 million followers, that is supposed to be the answer to Canada's issues, that's addressing tariffs that are actually going to hit every single Canadian. 100% of us are going to feel those tariffs. 100% of us. And you can only get that many views. That's not good, man. That is really, really, really not good. So let's try to continue this video. More than 10 words this time.
this: Canada will fight back. We will defend our
Can't even go further than that. Shut the fuck up. You're not going to fight back with what? You're like the retarded brother that, you can put your hand on his forehead and he's not able to, like, he's swinging under your punches. That's who we are. That's who we are. Let's agree here. We have no place to fight back.
No. I mean, there's a time and a place. Yeah, if you're in a position where you have some leverage, you have cards to play. Of course,
We don't.
There's a time and a place to thump your chest. There's a time and a place to be, to be the hard ass. But that isn't it. That's not. There's no point to it now. It only hurts us. And even if it makes us feel good in the temporary, in the short term, I mean, that's what leadership is supposed to be about: is having vision, to seeing beyond the immediate emotion of the moment.
And you know what? Again, we said this so many times, but when it's time to kiss the ring, admit that,
you don't have
just like Prairie is saying right now, Canada sitting at the kids' table. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. And yeah, let's try to continue, but this is already brutal. Literally 10 seconds in.
our people and our economy, and we will put Canada first. There's no doubt.
I can't even let that go through. Trump stabbed us. We're going to fight back. and we're going to put Canada first. Three things that do not fit together. Trump did not stab us. We're the one that's acting like children. We are going to fight back with what? We have no leverage. We will put Canada first. How are you putting Canada first by wanting to go on a trade war with the US when you have no leverage? Right then and there, like, what the fuck are you saying, bro?
I'm really, and I think most Canadians are really less interested in rhetoric right now. I want to hear what specifically you're going to do, and that
Let's do it.
all the leaders. Like, give us concrete solutions. Tell us what you're going to do.
Doubt that our economy will suffer.
There you go. Maybe he'll say.
But so will yours, President Trump. In fact,
No, it won't.
you're already paying the price with trillions of dollars erased in stock market value over the last month of these threats. Already, Americans are paying higher gas prices. As at midnight, a new American gas tax kicked in
Today, Junior.
Taxpayers and motorists. Your workers will soon start losing jobs. Jobs they had upgrading Canadian raw materials, which, by the way, you were getting. Incredible.
I don't want. Nobody cares about this, dude.
And your businesses will be selling fewer products to your closest neighbor, and that.
Like, this is not where 1 minute in, he has not said anything outside of when Trump sees this, he's going to be laughing his ass off. He's going to be looking at this and saying, oh, there you go. The little brother's getting pissy again. Like, are you serious? Does that sound like the guy you want to run the country? Is that the man right there?
Like, you also got to try to think about what Trump's doing. I think Trump is fully prepared to take some short-term economic pain. I think he's thinking longer term. I think he's probably trying to suck manufacturing back into the United States. And actually,
that's exactly what he's trying to do.
That's exactly what I'd be doing if I were the president of the United States, right? Like, that manufacturing base has been hollowed the fuck out over the last 30 to 40 years by globalization, and those people have not been given a goddamn thing. They have not been given any retraining. It's just sorry about your luck, and that essentially created the Rust Belt all throughout that Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, and that is the resentment and anger from that area that's the wave that Trump rode in on in 2016, right? So he knows what he's doing, and as a Canadian, it kind of sucks because, for them to get their manufacturing base back, some of it is going to have to come from us. That's going to hurt us. But if I were an American, that's exactly what I do. So I don't think he gives a shit about short-term economic pain. So there's no point in even this entire line of reasoning from Poilievre. I'm not interested, and I don't think a lot of Canadians are interested in how hard we're going to hit America back, because we all know we can't hit them hard. So tell us what you're going to do, or tell us what your solutions are.
Right here. So I'm on the video's comments because again, I always look at people's comments. Right here. Why bother having a press conference? You could have just linked Trudeau's and said, I'm with stupid. But if you look at his comments, that's what they've become. Like, our pollsters said to aim this thing at our own foot. I'm going to do just that. And this is what it's become. Like, there's no Canada first without Canadians being first. Like, you look, this is a good point. I wanted to talk about this, by the way, since we're on the tariffs. Tell us what you found, because just to put, I know if you're seeing this, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because this post has been going viral everywhere on all social media platforms. If you're listening to this, that's
not actually true.
But hold on. Before you get in there, it's I just want to describe it to the people that are just listening to this. They're not watching the actual feed. So basically, it says that Canada thinks that 25% tariffs are not fair. Here are some of the tariffs that we charge the US, and it goes like milk, cheese, butter, chicken, sausage, and it goes through a bunch of stuff saying that we have a bunch of tariffs on it. I saw this post and I'm like, oh shit, is this true?
Well, Rob, I sent it to you
this morning, and I'm like, hey bro, before we talk about this, did you verify the numbers? You didn't, but then you did. What'd you find out?
Yeah, so these numbers aren't correct. This is a list of what appears to be all the tariffs Canada has ever put on the United States ever. And the vast majority of them, once we signed NAFTA, I think 93 with Bill Clinton, they all went out. So in terms of actual tariffs that are in place right now, it's dairy, and it is there was one other one. I guess milk is dairy, dairy and poultry. So basically, dairy and chicken. Those are the two.
So the first one, the
Yep.
milk, cheese, butter, and chicken, basically is what you're saying.
And I don't think it was that. I don't think it was 270%. I think it's probably 100 or 150. And I mean that's everyone actually knows that we do have that sort of dairy monopoly. That's sort of weird. I don't know why we have that. It certainly increases the price for consumers. But I guess we've been told that it's beneficial for the Canadian dairy industry, but I'm not sure with that one industry. I mean, that the same arguments to prop up those tariffs could be used.
No, but
for
this
any,
is a
any
this is a
industry.
mafia. This is a mafia going on in Canada. Like anybody that understands this, it's
Yeah.
really the rates are controlled by the federal government. So the federal government is controlling the price of our poultry, the price of our dairy products, especially the dairy products. So see, even right now, it's saying it like, and by the way, guys, if you've never used Grok, I don't like to promote this, but I use AI all the time, and I've used pretty much all the platforms out there. Grok is not only good at giving you an idea, but it's really good at showing the actual source that it's using. You can ask it, name me the source, I want opinions from experts and stuff like that. It will link the articles, link the studies. But basically, right now, they are saying the tariffs are typically 7.5% or lower.
Yes.
Cheese seems like cheese could be up to 245%.
Okay. So yeah, maybe it is something for
Butter 298 to 313. So it seems that there are some tariffs in place, not as bad as what they were describing, but I kind of like the fact that it is somewhat true. And it is very hypocritical if those numbers are indeed true. And, for the people that are listening to this, do you follow someone that seems to be an expert in tariffs? Because we would love to have him on.
I would love.
We would love to have because we can give you the information that we
It's really confusing, right? And we can do all the research we want, but you really need to talk to
I like experts.
Yeah.
I like experts. Plus, just like I said to you this morning, we can't just share something we found online because we think it's true, right?
Yeah.
So if you guys have experts that you could recommend for tariffs, we would love to have them on.
Yep.
I
want to talk about solutions, right? I want to talk about what can we do, like
100%.
and with solutions that don't require political slogans. We've had a lifetime of those. We don't need any more of those.
Actually, Prairie, I disagree with you on that one. For a guy, I'm in the US right now, and it says really, and both dairy and chicken are both cheaper in the US. I don't agree with you. Nope. Absolutely.
I'm in New Brunswick, and we'll go over to Maine once in a while, and the chicken is significantly cheaper there. I don't know what it's like down in Alabama.
The thing is, and this is the caveat that I'm going to put on this, Prairie, I do not eat normal chicken. I do not eat normal meat. Everything I eat is grass-fed, organic. I do not eat, because the thing is in the US that you need to be extremely.
Yeah,
that is a massive difference between the US and Canada. We do not have the same regulations on the way that we treat our meat.
Chicken breasts are like this big. They're
so you got to be very careful, because in Canada, you're not legally allowed to put antibiotics and steroids in your meat. This is regulation. So, but in the US, unfortunately, the USDA don't care. You can do whatever you want. So technically, if you're buying cheap chicken, you're not worrying like I am. Is chicken cheaper? You're probably right. I don't know, but I think that you might be right. But I never buy the cheap stuff. Even in Canada, I only buy the organic stuff. So it's always more expensive no matter what. But
it's
at the end of the day,
boneless, skinless chicken breasts are huge, but they taste
Yeah.
terrible. Like there's almost no flavor. You know, it's like
Just the
same
color.
amount the same amount
Just
of
the
flavor.
color.
Yeah, it's just sort of generic protein. It's pretty gross. But it's so
One
it is
thing that I
so-
found in the US though, it's hard to find quality products. And that is something my wife complains about all the time, is compared to where we're from in Montreal, our products are better. Like
really.
what, because we do all of our food from scratch. We don't buy pre-made food. We cook it. We make everything. We both take our health very seriously when it comes to especially what we put in our body. It's very hard to find quality ingredients in most states. And it's not just Alabama. It's across, like we've traveled 23 states in the US, and the quality is just not there. And coming from Montreal, we're very, very, very fortunate. Like we're top 10 destination for food in the world. So we take it for granted, right? As people from Montreal, we're like, hey, we're going to go to Montreal. What do you feel like eating? We'll find it. You don't find that the same way in the US, and it's unfortunate. So maybe you're right, Prairie. I'm not going to argue with you, but I don't look at the regular meat. So I think that you're right. If you're comparing cheap chicken, if you're taking the cheapest one you can find and compare it to Canada, yes, it's probably more expensive in Canada. And considering the change rate right now, oh balls, yes,
Oh,
it is.
man, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
we are getting hammered
Actually,
right
I'm
now.
gonna
So
let me check that. Let's see what the latest
one
is.
point 1.42 or 1.44. That's where it was.
That's bad.
This is where it was sitting yesterday when I looked. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it changed. You can tell me, but this is where I was
Let me
sitting
see
yesterday.
here. Convert $1 into Canadian. Yes, it's 1.45. Or if you
So-
want to do that, the reverse, we will. It would be what, 55 or 65 cents? No, 55 cents. Wow, that's terrible. 55 cents on the dollar. Sorry, no, stop. 68 right now.
And look
68.
at how much it was a year ago.
Let me see. Get a chart here. I'll try to get.
Yeah, go
get
for
that
it. I'll
chart.
play another video.
Yeah,
You got
yeah,
it?
I got it here. What are we at? Exactly 1 year ago, you had, well, even back in September, it was 63 cents, or sorry, 75 cents.
That's
back.
because that's what I was thinking. 73 when we arrived here in Alabama a
Yep,
few months
that's
ago.
right. If you look at this
So-
chart, it's a bloodbath. It's just, it looks like Enron stock. It's just since
Oh wow, jeez,
little blast from the past there. Yeah, since September
showing
25th.
my age here.
Yeah,
Showing my age, bro.
September 25th, which was a high point. Yeah, it's about 75.5. It's just a non-stop downward from there. So it's not good. It's not good. Which would normally be great for imports, or for our manufacturing base, because it makes everything much cheaper for Americans, unless you've got 25% tariff slapped onto them.
So Cindy Irwin is saying, this is why I grow my own veggies. Fuck, good point. I'm lucky that I have various farmers for neighbors. Beautiful. Prairie is asking, how much is a gallon of milk right now in the US? In Alabama right now, gallons of milk are going for about $4.23 US. If you put it through the change rate, you're
Yeah,
looking
let me do
about
that.
$6.15.
What was that?
That's
$4 and what?
$4.23 US for a gallon of milk. It's about the average, but it's $6.15 Canadian. I just
that's right.
did a quick change. So
$6.15 Canadian. And so, yeah, so what are we at for a gallon? I think here it's like, oh yeah, but we go in liters, so it's not 2 liters is like $4, $4.50 or something.
it's 3.69 if I remember, like
Is it? Okay.
3.7 liter is a gallon, give or take.
Oh yes, that's right. That's right. So yeah, I think it's cheaper in the States.
And the only thing you need to be blaming right now is the dairy industry, because I do believe that we produce most of our milk in
Well, yeah,
Canada. Do you want to research that before I talk
Yep.
out of my ass?
Yep. And that's That's generally why people don't like monopolies, because they almost inevitably will charge much higher prices than would happen in a free market, right?
Yep. So up to now, to go back to what we were talking about, we showed you what Trudeau's response is for the tariff, is to slap a tariff back of something like $155 billion with a $30 billion starting right now.
Mm-hmm.
Carney is to go dollar for dollar. Pierre Poilievre is just blaming the US for everything that's going on, saying that we got stabbed in the back. One of the things that I wanted to show you is I got a couple more videos that I wanted to show, so we'll get to them. One is our Chrystia Freeland, which she's bro.
Nutcase.
You know, if earlier there were people, I think it was Beef on a Bun was saying that he cannot stand Melanie Joly.
Yeah.
If there's a woman I cannot stand, it is Chrystia Freeland. That woman, bro, she looks like a witch, not a bitch, a witch. Look at her. Look at her right now.
Does, eh?
Tell me, look at that picture, like right there.
Broomsticks. Yeah, I see it. At least like the stereotypical witch, right?
Yeah. Like she should be flying on a broom. So we can't hear the question, but we're gonna see exactly what they're talking about. The Wicked Witch of the WEF.
Nice.
Zing!
Okay, so
yeah, that was great.
And
really
we need a 3-part
buzzing.
Plan. Part 1 is fight the tariffs. Be strong now. Tariffs are not yet in place, and the
I've never really heard her
Americans
talk.
need to
She's
hear
terrible.
From us
Hold on,
now.
let her
They
go.
need to hear from
Let her
me
go.
today that if they hit us, we will hit back, and that is going to have an impact. Something Canadians need to remember is, we depend on the United States, but they depend on us too.
No, they don't.
Can you tell me the difference between Pierre Poilievre and Chrystia Freeland right now?
Well, I mean, based on that, there isn't one. I don't.
You know what we should do? I was thinking about this before the show. You and I should create. Do you remember the videos sponsored by Pfizer, where all from the left, from the right in the US, it didn't matter who the mainstream media platform was. They're all saying the same thing. You and I should make a video of everything they just said. Just go one after the other. What Justin Trudeau said, what Pierre Poilievre said, what Chrystia Freeland said, what Doug Ford, as you're going to see soon, said. Like, it's all the same thing. Did you notice that we need to fight back? This is the exact same message Pierre Poilievre just passed. Yet, how is that helping me?
So I mean,
how is it helping me?
Like I said, I'm open to solutions. That's what I'm all about. So if all of our leaders are in lockstep, let's just for the sake of argument, I don't think this is true, but let's say for the sake of argument, there's some actual good hard data that suggests this is the way to go. That's fine. So let's hear it. I want to hear it. I want to hear exactly why we're doing this. Now, I don't think that's actually the case. I think I don't think they know what to do, and they feel like it's better to do something than nothing. But sometimes, as like we saw on the weekend, sometimes it's better to do nothing than something.
So that was her point 1 of her 3-point strategy: fight back. How? We don't know. We don't know.
Yeah, Cindy Urin, we're the point you brought up is exactly the point we're going to get to here in a second.
Also, Miriam, hey, I should be flying on a broom.
Yeah.
Are you talking about yourself? Do you call yourself a witch? I'm not sure.
We support however you want to identify here on this show. If you identify as a witch, that's what you are.
Buy stuff from us. The stuff they buy from us, they really need. And when they impose tariffs on what they import from Canada, they are going to make prices at the grocery store higher in the US. They're going to make it more expensive for Americans to fill up their tanks with gas. And they also need to know that if they hit us, we will hit back. As Prime Minister, I will impose a dollar-for-dollar retaliation, and it is going to be surgical and targeted, so it does the minimum harm to us and creates the maximum pain in the people who have the most influence with Donald Trump. One of the things that will be included in my retaliation is 100% tariffs on Teslas. So fighting back.
Okay.
What?
This is another thing, identity politics,
Yeah,
right?
it's exactly what it
Stop.
is.
Stop.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with anything. What the fuck does Tesla have anything to do with this? Nothing.
It's
nothing.
It's
nothing.
because Elon Musk is a popular whipping boy on the left right now, and it's just more virtue
identity.
signaling. Identity 100%. Politics, performance. It's all nonsense. So Canadians don't want to hear this shit. I don't like. I guarantee you, if that was one of the things they slapped on Teslas, Trump would be, oh sweet. Now they're not hurting the rest of the American economy. It's only Tesla. Trump doesn't give a shit about Tesla. They come the fuck on. I'm with you. It's just like, stop, shut up, and like go back. It's the wrong direction.
I apologize for the people listening to this, especially Prairie. She's saying that I can't stand that bubblehead Freeland, and she does look like the Wicked Witch of the West. But
I'll get you, my pretties.
Let's finish the video because we've been fair to others or unfair to others. Let's be unfair to everybody the same.
Creating pressure in the United States. So people are calling up the White House and saying, this tariff war is dumb. It is self-mutilating. That's the first thing we need to do. The second thing we need to do, and Tony, one of the guys who works here, raised this with me, is we need to seize the opportunity that this crisis offers us, and we need to work hard to make Canada stronger and more resilient. Now is the time to just cut barriers to interprovincial trade. Now is the time to diversify our export markets. Now is the time to get more big things built in Canada using our great Canadian steel. So that's job number 2. And then job number 3, and I'm grateful for the question because I want the people of
it wasn't planned at all, sorry.
The people of Hamilton to hear this very clearly. We will stand by you. Canada understands how fundamental steel is to our national economy. And if the tariffs do come, Canada will be here to support you. As Prime Minister, I will do that. I stepped up during COVID to support small businesses and workers.
You mean push people to get arrested because they didn't stand, they stood up for the lockdowns? You know what's interesting about this? She did not talk about steel. She talked about steel, but she didn't talk about aluminum. For the people out there that might not know this, we supply something like 80% of Americans' aluminum comes from Canada. And we supply basically nothing when it comes to steel in the US. Like, I'm going to get the numbers again, but the numbers were less than 10%. I don't want to say that it's nothing because obviously it's not nothing. Bad choice of word. But just to say that, why is she not talking about aluminum? Because this is where we're going to get hit hard. If this goes through, bro, the aluminum industry in Canada is going to get destroyed.
Well, and those are good jobs too, right? Those are good middle-class jobs. Like those are the ones that are going to hurt.
And not only that, but when, like, I lived in a place called Gatineau, which is surrounded by it. Not only is it a very governmental town because it's right across from Ottawa, but there was, at least, I don't know if it's still there, but there used to be a steel/aluminum factory there. So the whole town revolves. Like, it's like, what happened in Detroit when you remove the auto industry, you decimate the middle class, because those are all great middle class jobs that the whole cities are built around. So you're impacting so much jobs. But again, as you've been saying for the whole show, they don't provide any solutions to the tariff. We're going to do this. We're going to do
things. Well, that's great. Tell me, which things are you going to build?
Even
just big ones.
Even Pierre Poilievre has a plan when it comes to pipeline and all that stuff. And that's something, I'll give him credit for, although I talked about that a long time ago, so it's nothing special. Maxime Bernier's been talking about this for almost 10 years. But the point is that none of them offer a solution right now. Like this is going to take years to implement. Everything they're talking about is going to take
that's your
at least a year.
long-term plan for sure.
Exactly. So, but what about now? You need to go on your knees, kiss the ring, and then start working on this shit. We talked about this a fucking month ago, you and I. This is nothing new. So, but you need to figure out the very short term, because this is where we're going to get hit hard.
Well, like, you know, all the pain Canadians are going to suffer. Do they really think we're going to be like, well, as long as Americans are paying 4 cents more per gallon, I'm happy. Like that doesn't matter. That does not matter whatsoever. Cindy says her body language alone is disturbing. Yeah, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, like, yes, policy is what's most important, but optics matters too. This is politics, right?
Hillary Clinton.
Politics
Remember her?
Yeah. I mean, she lost on her body language, right? Like politics are personal. And in a time of crisis, there's a reason why Bill Clinton was such a, whatever you feel about him, he was an incredible politician. He was empathetic. Americans felt like he felt their pain when he spoke. And that's, you know, again, maybe this is nitpicky, but I wouldn't mind seeing some of that. People are scared and they want to hear that reflected, at least a sense of urgency in their leaders. Because she's kind of up there, you know, bobbling around and in a chirpy sing-song voice, and it doesn't really seem like it matches the moment. And she didn't talk about it there, but as I was talking about it earlier when I was telling you, I was like, and Cindy alluded to here, she's talking about getting British nukes on Canadian soil as a defense against the Americans, and that is just the dumbest thing I think I've ever heard a Canadian politician.
Yeah, but I did not want to play that because you know what? At the end of the day, she is absolutely, and I apologize for the retards out there, but she's retarded. That woman is just, you know what I'm starting to see is that she's playing the dumb role to make sure Mark Carney is selected. Like, to me, this is all I'm seeing. Like, she could not sound any dumber, even if she tried.
It's kabuki theater.
She's so unlikable. Like, turn off the volume. It bothers me to just look at her, just the way she moves. And you know, she's not even smart enough to have good microphone control. Did you notice that? As she's talking, she's like, hey, let's go, la 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 la, and then she comes back to the microphone. Like, it's right there. Like, just talk in the fucking microphone so people can hear what you're saying. Cindy Irwin, no apologies needed. You know what? When I feel bad, I feel bad. I'll apologize. I'm Canadian after all. I thank AI for helping me. That's the type of person that I am. You know, I was
please and thank you to AI.
I was wrong. It's 25. Hold on. I got the numbers here. It was something along 20% of American steel is imported from Canada. So comes from Canada.
Okay.
And so iron/steel, because it's two different things. So them combined seems to be around 20%. So it will be devastating to us. But U.S. import,
I mean, they're going to feel pain, no doubt about it. And maybe that gives us some hope for a solution. But right now, our leaders need to be focused on that solution. I don't care what it takes. You need to be focused on eliminating, preferably, but if nothing else, reducing where you can these tariffs. Try to find out what exactly Trump is going here for. And then you give it to them, or you do your best you can, you know, in a way that makes sense for Canada. That's what the move is right here and right now. Medium and long.
Sorry, all I was going to say is for aluminum, I was pretty bang on. It's 75%, 74.25%. That's why I was thinking 80%, but 74.25% of American aluminum's imports come from Canada.
Wow. Well, that's interesting.
This is where it's going to be.
So I mean, like, and that, like, that does give us a pressure point, right? There are probably people who make things out of aluminum that are powerful, you know, wealthy Americans who are probably not super pleased, right? They probably are not, you know, they're going to want to buy the cheaper Canadian aluminum. So there's going to be pressure points.
But what they could do, and I'm very curious to see what Trump's going to do about it, is technically what they could do is smack a 25% tariff on aluminum instead of keeping that money, giving it back to aluminum producers right now to eat, like to put it at zero, to just say, you know what, here's money that we can use to develop, because as per Morgan Stanley, as per the research that they've done and they published, it will take decades and billions of dollars in investment in order for the US to ever become self-sufficient on steel/iron as well as aluminum. But imagine that they did that. Imagine that Trump said, you know what, we'll put 25% tariff on aluminum. This should make it equal base for people to produce here. We will take that money, give it to those producers so that they don't feel the heat, and that the taxpayers are not the one paying for the, you know, they're giving it back, but they can invest that money. There has to be a way so that he can use that money, and instead of keeping it for himself and doing something else with it, he reinvests it directly into the production and development of steel/iron and aluminum in the US. That's why I would love to have a tariff expert.
Well, yeah. I mean, people might not remember, but we went through this a little bit back in 2017. Trump slapped tariffs on us as well. I don't know if it was quite as broad ranging, but it was quite a bit. And we also did the same thing, but it didn't last very long. And I don't really recall the panic that's going on today. So I'm sort of inclined to believe that it wasn't as big as these ones today. But you know, we aren't completely in uncharted territory here, and hopefully it's something like that. Hopefully it works out like that. Hopefully he wants to win somewhere, and because at the end of the day, even if, as we talked about before, he's probably trying to get manufacturing base back in America, that, like, Canada is a very little part of that equation. I mean, we're talking China when we talk about that.
100%. You know, I will play this video. I didn't watch the whole thing, but this should we just, because this, to me, I'll play, you know what, I'll play the shorter one, because I could not believe what I was hearing, because there's 3 more videos I want to play. I want to play Doug Ford, because in my opinion, he's even worse than what Trudeau Carney.
He surprised me.
And he just got reelected right now, and I believe that he has a majority now in like in Ontario. So this is the premier of Ontario, what he had to say about the tariffs.
I'm going after absolutely everything. We keep the lights on to 1.5 million homes and manufacturing in New York, in Michigan, and in Minnesota. If he wants to destroy our economy and our families, I will shut down the electricity going down to the U.S. And I'm telling you, we will do it.
So he's basically saying, to put it into perspective, I was posting about it this morning. He basically said that he will cut the energy, the power, because we supply power to Minnesota, New York, and Michigan from Ontario. He will impact 1.5 billion houses / businesses in the US if Trump does that. Not only that, but as part of the same video, he was saying that he will remove LCBO, is supposedly LCBO, the government ran liquor association that provides alcohol to Ontario, is the biggest supplier or the biggest purchaser of American alcohol, and supposedly that he will remove them all. He will remove every single American product from their shelves. So we're literally, this is not even tariffs anymore. We're basically boycotting US products, and we're talking about Michigan, New York, and Minnesota is almost as cold as Canada. So what are you saying right now? You're saying that you will cut the power to those people's houses. You will not let them be heated. Is that what you're saying? Or you're literally saying that you will put their families at risk? Like, how, like, are you fucking, like, what the fuck is going on in your head? Even in Quebec, where if you owe the government money for your hydro,
They
it's
won't
not
catch
legal for them. It's not legal because you could literally die. People
Yeah.
could literally die. And Minnesota is cold as fuck. Michigan is cold as fuck. And so is New York State, because I believe that was the third one.
Yeah.
So what are
Well,
you
if
saying?
I mean,
You're
if,
gonna
if
put-
that's the way it's going to go, yeah, I don't think dead Americans are going to be beneficial in this.
No, but
in
how
this.
how are you doing it on purpose to make sure that Canada is hated by the US? Is that what you're doing now? Because now you're talking about putting Americans' life at risk. This is, I didn't think about that when I first listened to the video this morning, but now that I'm listening to him, I'm like, hey, bro, you can't do that. So to me, he's either full of shit and he absolutely knows that he's full of shit and he thinks that people are too stupid to actually call him up on it. But I can tell you, Doug Ford, you're a fucking moron. If that's what you're planning about doing, and I don't like to call people's name, but now you're saying that you're going to put people's life at risk. This is not okay. This is not okay, bro. You cannot threaten Americans' lives. You can't do that. You cannot do that and not expect the US to reciprocate. Like, are you fucking retarded here? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, I think
That's insane. That is just
I
insane.
I think our leaders need to be very careful here to not make this personal. I think our best hope is sort of a short-term thing where no one, certainly no one really gets too upset, and we just kind of go back to the way things were. But the longer this plays out, the harder that happens. But yeah, if Americans start dying in their homes from because you've cut their power, that's going to really, really escalate that. I don't think that's necessarily smart at all. I think you should be talking. Yeah, of course they have to have some sort of response. I don't think you want to make this personal. I think that you want to keep it business, keep it to the tariffs. We don't think this is the right thing. We value our relationship with the United States. This harms both of us. That's all fine. I think that's valuable. But at the end of the day, you can't get into a slugging fest here, a slug match. We can't go blow for blow with America. And if you've got data or there's a bigger strategy here behind all the tariffs, other than just that it feels good in the moment to pound our chest a little, then I'd like to hear it. My mind's open. If you can convince me that this is the right way to go, I'll support it. But I just don't see it. I don't see it as smart. Because you gotta understand. You gotta know who you're dealing with here, right? Maybe this would have been the right thing to do with a different politician. I don't think it's the right thing to do with Trump. In some ways, he's not nearly as complicated as people make him out to be.
No.
Yeah, he's got a massive ego, and there's a good chance.
Clearly, they do too.
Yeah.
Clearly, they do too.
There's a good chance he's probably a narcissist of some type, so he
clearly
wants to have,
they do too. They are too.
They are too. He wants to have his win, and you got to give it to him, right? And that means kiss the ring. That's what you do to save 1 million fucking Canadian jobs, right? That is what leadership is in this stage, in this moment. That's what that is.
Right, tonight in Minnesota is going to be -1, tomorrow -8, and we're talking Celsius. -6, -4. Those are the next 5 days counting today. -1, -8, -8, -6, -4, -3. And right now there's a storm. There's a winter storm warning in effect from 7 p.m. this evening to 3 p.m. on Wednesday. So this
good idea to cut power.
New York State, not bad. Like, we're talking in the plus in New York. So it doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal. But Michigan's pretty good too. So 8 today, 0 tomorrow, -1, -2, -2. So you're talking about negatives in 2 of the 3 regions that he's talking about. Not a good move. Not a good move on that one, bro.
Obviously, this is way above our pay grade. I'm sure they have all kinds of real smart people working on things like messaging. But what about something like, yes, we don't agree with the tariffs. We think they're unnecessary. It hurts both of our economies, but we have a close relationship with the Americans, and we're not going to abandon our American friends in this moment of need. Why not try to kill them with kindness? You know what I mean? Because we're not going to kill them with anything else. We're not going to kill them with strength or with our economic might. So you have to know who you're dealing with, right? Like Sun Tzu, The Art of War. Know your enemy, know yourself. We got to know ourselves here, and we got to know our enemies. And we can't go toe to toe with fucking Muhammad Ali when we're, you know, Glass Joe from Mike Tyson's Punch Out, you know, that little scrawny guy.
Oh, you're showing your age today,
yeah,
bro.
I'm definitely dating myself.
So Beef on a Bun is saying, what a weak attempt at negotiating with the world's biggest superpower. Cindy
exactly.
Irwin is saying Trump is a businessman first and foremost.
And I think what she's saying is he's transactional, right? Give him something so he can declare a win. He wants to pump his chest. And the fact of the matter is, when you're the president of the United States of America, that's one of the perks of the job. You're gonna get to pump your chest once in a while.
Prairie, I know that there's definitely something in the human rights code against withholding water, but power. I can tell you that in Quebec, it is illegal for Hydro-Quebec to cut your power in the middle of winter. I know that.
And even if it's quote unquote legal, it's not the PR that you want in this battle right now. You know what I mean?
No, 100%. Miriam is saying, hopefully Canada will never consider the US as an enemy. You know, I'm not, but I don't think that's not the part that worries me. The part that worries me is the US seeing Canada as the enemy. Because Canadians we're very, very soft. Like we're not very combative. We think we have an opinion, but we're not going to go to war with our opinion. We're not known to be fighters. We're very complacent. So most people are listening to the TV, and that's where their opinions come from. But that part does not worry me, because at the end of the day, we're like the little brother that needs to be smacked in the head every now and then by the bigger brother. What I'm worried is the bigger brother, that is the US, saying, you know what, Canada, we're fucking through. We're done. You don't seem to care about what we're asking. You're putting our security at risk. And now we become a problem. That worries me, because there's nothing that we can do to defend ourselves against the US. The European countries in NATO cannot help us.
No,
Russia's not going to come here to help us when we've been backing Ukraine since the beginning. And China's the same way. They're not here to help us. We are literally spitting in the face of our big brother, and we're not even just tugging on his shirt to be annoying. We're pinching him in the balls. We're like, hey, motherfucker. Hey, motherfucker. Yeah. So this is the part that worries me the most, is America being starting to hate Canada and seeing it as an enemy.
And there is.
Just let me say what Miriam is saying here. You can go after and we'll close it.
Yep.
But Miriam is saying that the US actually loves Canada. It wants to adopt it and take it under his wing. Agreed. And as I said, I'm in Alabama right now, but that will only last a certain time. If we continue doing what we're doing, that type of mentality is going to expire, especially if you consider that both the front runner for the Liberal Party, both front runners for the Liberal Party, so whoever becomes prime minister next, and the front runner for the Conservative, the only two parties that will probably that's elected a prime minister in the history of fucking Canada, basically, both want tariffs, both support Ukraine, and both are making Trump to be an enemy, a boogeyman of Canada. So no matter where it goes, Trump is like, I don't have a supporter in Canada. I would love for Daniel Smith and Maxime Bernier to jump on a plane, go down there, and do what they have to do to try to speak to Trump.
Well, I mean, again, I'm sure they have political strategists that they pay for this, and it sounds like Cindy is in there, but perhaps this is an opportunity for Maxime Bernier, who's right now an outsider, to go down,
100%.
Have a little powwow, and then Donald Trump comes out and says, "Oh, by the way, I'm not going to deal with anyone else, but I will do business with Maxime Bernier." I'd love to see the polls a week after that.
Hey, Maxime, we had you on the show. If you're listening to this, bro, what Rob just said is exactly it. You should be doing whatever you can to go meet with Trump and have him endorse you publicly, because Trump will.
That. If you watch last year, it's all been a steady stream of U.S. congressmen and senators. They kiss the ring, and they leave, and he says, "Yeah, love this guy. I can do business with him." And
imagine Donald Trump endorsing Maxime Bernier.
I can work with this guy. I can like.
Wow,
it would give him the victory that he wants.
He definitely need to be on the debate stage there.
Yeah.
That would buy him the debate stage and probably a very big percentage. Not a very big. I don't know. Hard to predict, but that would definitely move the. That would move the lead. Oh yeah, and you know Trump would like. Maxime Bernier is a cool dude. Like he would post about this. Don't give a fuck.
Because then he would get to be like play kingmaker, right? Which is what he wants. He wants to be the big swinging dick. And
good point.
Yeah, I mean, you could see it. You could see it happening because I can't see him aligning with Poilievre. I mean, clearly,
he won't. Yeah. So, but man, that is a good point. I didn't think about that. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Because the kingmaker. Yeah. Oh, bro, that would be another accolade at the end of his. Can you imagine him choosing Maxime Bernier and Maxime Bernier just rips through the poll? Trump would be like King Kong on the top of a mountain, like Governor Bernier, welcome.
Well, I think he would probably get almost every conservative, but you'd probably get a lot of people who are just more practical minded who said, I don't care about politics. I just want someone who's going to get rid of the tariffs. And if Trump says Bernier's that guy, then I'm going to vote for Bernier.
He would open the door to people like you that did not know who Maxime Bernier was or what he stood for until we had him on the show. Because this is the thing, right? And this is why what we're doing is so different from other platforms. We actually give that conversation between what's considered a righty and what's considered a lefty. So people like you, I've been aware of Maxime Bernier since he was still a conservative. But a lot of people on the left have no clue who Maxime Bernier is because they don't give them the platform. They don't allow Maxime Bernier. The mainstream media does not want to talk to him. And in Canada, it's only left. And now you would have a guy like Trump putting his name out there. Can you imagine? Now everybody would be ringing Maxime Bernier to get an interview. Hey, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? So by association. And, even Prairie is pretty much agreeing with you. Oh, fucking right. I'm assuming, oh, fuck. Yeah. I'd love that, Rob. And you know what? I agree. Cindy Irwin is saying PPC is gaining more and more support on a daily basis. That would be an amazing meeting. Oh, bro, it would be fucking amazing. I don't know, man, Kingmaker. That is such a great way to put it, bro.
Yeah,
you're on fire today. Good for you.
Yeah. I had my Wheaties this morning.
You plugged Enron. You plug Punch Out, and now you plug Kingmaker. Brother. Yeah. Hopefully you quit this, you finish this podcast and you go to bed. You can't fuck it up. Like you can't. Yeah. This is as good as it gets, right?
It's only downhill from here.
Last comment for today. Beef on a bun. If everyone who supports Maxime Bernier tags Donald Trump with that message, maybe we can make it happen. Maybe Trump doesn't spend as much time as Elon Musk. I think that because Elon Musk reposts people all the time.
If you had something trending like that, it'll get in front of him eventually.
Yep. But this is we have to make a reel about this. We have to make a reel, yeah. That part we have to, because that is something that would be amazing. Trump, the kingmaker, and
in some way, this show would be kingmaker, have a bit of a role as a kingmaker. If that ended
we'd get an assist. Yeah. We'd get a pass on the goal.
That's right.
We'd get in this. We just get something like So let's make a reel about this. But I absolutely see. Thank you, Cindy. We'll close on that just because we take compliments.
Yeah,
I'm very glad that just Evely
tires all day long. We need that stuff.
You guys are great. You know what, Cindy? Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks a lot for the compliments. Thank you. And you know what? I had more videos, but hey,
that's all right.
We've been going for 2 hours and 10 minutes. I think it's enough. At least I'm tired of hearing Rob speak, so we'll call it a day. But on that note, guys, I want to be thankful and grateful for every single one of you that's out there. Thank you for joining the live. Thank you for commenting, because comment section once again went crazy. We probably have like 100 fucking comments. So thank you. like, don't forget, like, we've been in business for as long as Trump has been president. We
Yeah,
literally started when he
it
took
was like our
office.
first or second show, eh?
Our first show was about Trump
Yeah.
getting inaugurated. So we've
think-
only been doing this. Rob and I do not know each other in real life. We've never met.
Never met yet.
We just started recording content together. We're 6 weeks in. This is the 28th episode, and it wouldn't be possible without you
have
guys.
made it for us. Like
Yep.
if we didn't have the engagement from the audience, it would have felt completely different.
Yep. So we appreciate every single one of you guys. And do you want to close it off, Rob, or you want me to go?
Yeah, no, I got it. I mean, guys, again, as Nico was saying, like, really, this show would be nothing without you guys. You know, you could have been anywhere here today, but you chose to spend your time with us, and we really appreciate that. And you know, we're just kind of, as Nico and I have said from the beginning, we're not just doing a podcast here. We're trying to build a community. So we really do appreciate your engagement here. And yeah, and it was a great show today, and we will see you guys tomorrow.
The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shamelessly plug us in. Make sure, if you like this show, make sure to follow us at the Poly Orphans on both X and YouTube. If you want to hear more about Rob _the builder on X, and if you want to hear more about me, at Real Nico Lagan on every single platform. But go to X. That's the only place that I can actually say what I want without getting in trouble. So
also
thank
keep
you.
check on the X profile today, because we'll have a reel up there about what we were just talking about. And if you're interested in sort of, you know, retweeting it and getting it out there, trying to get in front of a Musk or a Trump, then we'll give you the raw material to do that.
Yep, let's do that. You know what? This is great because you know what, Rob? This is absolutely right. We'll make a reel about trying to create a kingmaker, like trying to have Trump create a kingmaker. We'll tag Maxime Bernier.
Yeah.
I'll contact his team on the back end because we have an in there, so that works for us. But I'll contact his team to make sure they post it. But you guys too, make sure to share it. If you want that to happen, I would fucking love it to happen. And it doesn't matter that you're liberal, you like the PPC, you like the conservative. We need as many choices as we can have. And considering that Poilievre is sounding like a liberal right now, maybe it's a good idea to show what Maxime Bernier stands for. So,
well, I mean, you know, I'm a Canadian first, and yeah, I'm a liberal, but what I really want is someone who can deal with someone who can move the country forward. And if Donald Trump says he's only going to deal with Bernier, I mean, for me, and for I think a lot of people, I think that'll make that for a very interesting decision.
Sounds good, brother. So thanks again. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow, same time.